Hi guys, this is Zach here, and today we're going to talk about Call of Duty Black Ops. Why? Because it's one of the most played video games today, and for the Xbox 360. We won't talk about the PC because I don't play PC games as much as I used to. People might claim, well, you play nothing but junk, and the Wii and so forth, and well, my thing is, if you're going to be a video game, you got to play pretty much anything and everything. So I don't want to hear that crap, basically, but let's go over some of the stuff about this game. I've written down what I should talk about to keep myself very organized. The very first thing is the multiplayer in this game versus Modern Warfare 2. It's pretty much, in my opinion, don't like it whatsoever. Modern Warfare 2 guns were a little bit nicer in my opinion on the way they shoot. The hitboxes were, what I mean hitboxes, like where you shoot, is pretty much more accurate, it seems like. There might be some kind of lag delay or something in this game that makes this game different, but the main points is the maps in this game just suck, in my opinion. They suck bad, and Modern Warfare 2 maps are way better than this crap. This, I don't know if they were in a hurry or whatever, it just seems like utter shit for maps on the multiplayer. Also to note, the perks, they're somewhat useful. They've been changed to try to make it more balanced, and then you've got the kill streaks, which of course are so balanced that pretty much the kill streaks are pretty much useless. Any good player is going to know how to counter back on the kill streaks, and it just doesn't seem like that great of a dominating game, other than if you do position your team in a way that makes it so they can't spawn. The enemy can't spawn, you take them out and you just position in that way. That's where you get your huge kill streaks, and you just keep going. And really, I haven't suffered from this, but I've seen it many times because I don't play the multiplayer. I really just despise the multiplayer. I'll watch my cousin or somebody else playing it, and I just see it. I go on YouTube and I look around, and that's what I see happening more often, and it's happening because it's made that way. The spawn points in this game are just, I've never really liked the spawn points. When someone spawns behind you and all that, they just lock it down, and pretty much I've seen gameplay where somebody will stick there with a ballistic knife behind them and keep killing them as they spawn, and that just shows some lame factor right there. So I think it's kind of stupid in that sense. And the main games that I played that I liked was Counter-Strike, was that you spawn away from each other, and even though it was one of those things where if you die you don't get to spawn again, it's not deathmatch. It's just, I don't like killing someone and someone spawning directly behind me because the spawn points are messed up. It just doesn't seem, it seems so lame. So that's pretty much it on the Modern Warfare 2 kind of stuff. The perks and the kill streaks are really nice. We don't see the nuke anymore in this game. Even though I didn't really care for the nuke because people would camp like bitches. Yes, that's pretty much what makes your kill streaks in this game. You don't have to worry so much about it because your kill streaks are pretty much useless. People are going to disagree and agree. Doesn't matter. That's why we're talking about it. So let's move on to the guns in the game. There's a lot of guns that especially find in real, because they are based off real guns, and airsoft weapons that you can buy to go with this game. Take note though, the way the gun is, it's just a crosshair on your screen. It's not the same or even close to the same thing if you've got a real gun in your hand and you're firing. The way you move around corners and stuff, it's just a crosshair. That's not going to happen. You've got stuff like short-range weapons, long-range weapons. You've got guns that are long, like huge and small, and so you hold them in different ways, and you can go around corners with them better. And they really don't have it like that. It's just you aim faster, you run faster, depending on what you want. It's not closely based to realism. And to note, the games that start to get closer and closer to realism, which I'm waiting for, I want to see that when you get shot, it actually is you're affected with. If you get shot in the leg, you can't move very much, and people will say we can't make a game like that. Well, what I'm going back to is before Counter-Strike came Counter-Strike, and Counter-Strike was a big game that everybody went to because it was getting more and more realistic. They loved having those weapons, those guns there, and just dominating people. Now, a game like this does have combat in it called knifing. There's no combat like Fear where you can jump kick and slide and stuff. Well, even Fear 2 started to get away from the turning around walls and shooting. And Gears of War basically is one of the few games that you can actually crouch down underneath things and shoot from behind objects. Now, I haven't seen a game come together like that and bring all this together, and I'm just waiting because I know a game like that can be very good if done right. So the guns in here, it's really cool that you can, customize them. Just realize they aren't based off the real thing in combat. So it's just pretty much a close simulation, but in my opinion, it's not anywhere near what could be there. I mean, when we build our weapons, when we love to build weapons, we love to take them apart and build piece by piece what makes your gun so great to win your hand. It kind of could be the same way in a video game, and that would just be over the top. It's one of my words. I'm going to say over the top, and or we can say terms. But let's move on to the mode in here called Zombies. That one's very addicting, very fun. The guns in there are pretty much the same thing to the multiplayer, but they're a little pepped up and changed around. And with the weapons, I love the fact there's a mystery box. It makes you want to look around and keep hitting that box to get what you can. The maps are pretty good. It's just kind of neutral. I haven't seen anything that just totally blows me away. Like, whoa, that is good. Someone spent a good time designing that map. Don't get me wrong, people take a lot of time designing maps. It's just, I think the structure and the time that they think about it, what is fun for inside a map. We've got Shangri-La, where we have the mine cart. Get on there. That's kind of fun. The slide's kind of fun, but it's just take it up another step level. I mean, the zombies get on the cart, but you don't get that real Indiana Jones kind of feeling like, oh shoot, there's zombies everywhere. Not to mention that when you get out of the cart, it makes it hard to get from wherever you want to go because now you're in such narrow pathways. These people that design these maps don't think about what other kind of strategies. After you get out of the cart, you're kind of screwed if the zombies are coming down from locations. So they think, okay, well, we'll just have a waterfall, but you keep having zombies come. And so as far as the maps go, they're just okay, in my opinion. They're not like way out there. Some people think they are, but they're not way out there. Call of the Dead. Such a horrible map, in my opinion. It just, where is the fun part in it? You climb a tower, you go down some slides. There really is not much on that map. So let's talk about patches. Okay, this game is patched a heck of a lot, but what is getting patched is more of the multiplayer kind of stuff, the zombies kind of stuff. I still see migrating. What is going on? Take away the migration. Fix it. It's not difficult. Okay? If you want to explain how come it migrates to me, then I don't want to hear it because I know you're not doing it right. It's not hard to see if there's another connection and say no connection between players and the player just leaves. But when you just shut down the game and you can't search, it's very irritating because I can sit there and search for 10 minutes sometimes when I can get it in 1 minute. It just depends. So they need to fix the migration for zombies. I'm sick and tired of that. Okay, so 5, we're going to talk about the new maps. The new maps, I pretty much don't play the multiplayer. And the new map Shangri-La, like I said, it's something that looks great, but there's only so much you can do there. I love the fact they put hidden Easter eggs, but the Easter eggs seem like they're not worth it sometimes because of the gameplay. I don't think the designers realize when they do this. In Shangri-La, you have to have 4 people to get the Easter egg. Okay, that's not too bad, but think about it. 4 people. You know how long it gets from one round to the next with 4 people? Because there's 4 times the amount of zombies. It's just not worth it. So even to do the Easter egg and get all the perks, it's just not worth it, because you're going to be there for hours of hours of hours when you can just have 2 people without all those perks get very, very, very much farther. So it kind of like, that kind of sucks, you know. I do like the fact they have puzzles and stuff, but it's just, it kind of sucks. They don't think about these things. Like Ascension, to do the Easter egg, all you get is a death machine, and I think it's within 60 seconds, somewhere between there, wherever, to use a death machine. Is it really worth doing the Easter egg? No! No! It's not. They don't really think about this. I would think, come on, Treyarch, make a section of the map they can't get to that's really nice, really cool, new weapons, whatever. Think of something, come on! It doesn't take a big time to come up with something. It doesn't take a lot of time to think of something great. So let's talk about the glitches in the zombie maps. Oh, what can I say about this? The glitches are easy to avoid. Who's ever making the map should avoid them, such as the Ascension map with the flying, I forget what you call it, elevation thing. They made it so that you could jump on the edges of it. And when you're making maps, you don't realize the brushes, you can't always zoom in to see what's at the bottom of a brush, or see the detail in the brush. And on those contraptions, I can't remember what they're called, the flying landers, thank you, landers. On the bottom of them, the way it's shaped is not a perfect circle. It's a shape like a hexagon, and it's so small you can't see it. There's little crevices that you can jump onto, and only a map maker that really understands that there is not a perfect circle shape would know this. And so they're able to jump onto it and get on the lander. And this is after it closes, so you jump onto it and you can go to wherever you pretty much want. It just shocks me that you couldn't design the map in a way they have to go into something and it closes, and there's no way that glitch can even exist. Same as map 5, you can jump still up to certain locations because who's ever the map designer doesn't put clips around the heights of sections like the table. Putting a clip around it that's invisible, you can't get up there anymore. No matter what glitch you try, a zombie hitting you up there, you can't get up there. That's something that should have been taken into consideration every time they make a new map. Shangri-La, there were so many glitches right when it came out. So many people are getting to the high rounds and are cheating in such ways that the second day we already see round 99 on the leaderboards. It's because they can cheat so easily. It's not that hard to be a map designer and realize how do these cheats work. Okay, the next map, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let that happen. So, improvements to the gameplay. What would be great? With zombies, of course. Well, let's talk about multiplayer first. In multiplayer, I don't like how the kill streaks are not very useful in my opinion. Perks are pretty good, but it's so balanced in a way, it kind of takes away from the dominating factor. I love to dominate in video games, and being able to spawn behind people, it's so freaking lame. It's just lame. Could improve that. The ways the guns, the way the guns are displayed, and you can build them. That would be pretty freaking cool. I do like that you can do so many. You can attach stuff to the weapons and change the way they look and color them and so forth. That's great. But again, this is not getting close to the realism of shooting those weapons in combat and being there. There's really a lot less cover than there should be. you just walk into an area. I mean, this is still like old school gaming. I mean, we should have the ability to take cover, look around corners, shoot in certain ways. It's just not there. That can be improved on. That could be the next game. I don't know. Haven't really looked at that. I'm just surprised that there isn't somebody that does it now. Okay, other improvements to zombies. It ticks me off that people don't realize the ammo in the game is way too expensive. You upgrade a gun, it's not worth it in the long run. It costs way too much to keep upgrading. You trade out your gun and upgrade it, your money just slowly dwindles, or quickly, it doesn't matter, down to zero. You're out of cash, or points actually. You're out of points. It just doesn't seem to work that way. The ammo's way too expensive, so it needs to be cheaper, or come up with something. I hate when you get in the higher levels like 30 and so forth. There's no traps in Shangri-La. This becomes irritating. It makes each round a pain in the ass after that, because your guns don't do shit to those zombies anymore. And it really just, you're getting this repetitive gameplay. And the one thing I don't like about Shangri-La is they try to force you away from your strategies into their type of strategy. And this kind of reminds me of Gears of War 1. Gears of War 1, the gameplay was understandably great. I think people kind of saw what was coming, but Gears of War 2, the multiplayer was, what kind of freaking gun is this? I think the game designer didn't understand what he had created was great, and then he moved and made it his own game, really, literally. Designed it his gameplay and not what he had created. It should have kind of been moved over and left somewhat that way. So let's talk about that again with the zombies. What we could fix here, I want to see something that makes it useful to get through the round still. Take an example. If you could keep upgrading your gun but make the expense every time double or something close to that. So 5,000, 10,000, maybe 15, 20,000, or maybe it goes 5, 10, 20, 40, I'm not sure in points. And your gun keeps getting better. It makes you last through the round still much quicker. The game is basically who can last the longest, and I don't see anybody really lasting 24-hour plus in zombies. How do you last more than 24 hours, or even up to 24 hours? With your game being on, you're going to leave it on that long, you may get the red ring of death. And not only that, to mention if you get disconnected, the way it's programmed, you have to stay connected the whole time. These factors make it nearly impossible for someone to get to round 99, even if they do it legitly. Legitly, I got to round 53 on Ascension, I think it was, or maybe it was in the 60s, I can't remember. It took 10 hours straight without me really taking a break. 10 hours straight. If I'm going to even spend 15 to 20 hours straight, one, I can't be at work day, two, I can't pause or save. That's some improvements we could do. People would buy from the marketplace the ability to pause or save their zombie round. I mean, how difficult is it, if you're going to patch everything, to make this? It's not difficult. You save the data for the guns that they have, the number of players, their locations. You can save this at the end of a zombie round. And what that means is you can restore later. It's just useful. It kind of reminds me of Gears of War 2 and Horde, being able to pick what wave you want. But I really hated how they patched that game. We'll talk about Gears of War 2 some other time. So as far as what I've talked about now, we can give any kind of comments, anything. Let's go ahead and subscribe if you like, because we're going to talk about all kinds of video games and kind of the gameplay to it, because that's what I want to be as a game designer, and I want to go towards that way, because I see video games and I just don't see them up to par of what they could be. So that will be it for now, guys. Talked about the game. Let's comment. Let's do it. You guys have a nice day.